by the walls of Jerusalem being torn down. Now, nobody else in the community had that burden but him. But God wanted the walls built. So that was a need that needed to be met. He was going to bring his people back to Jerusalem. They needed to have a safe place for that to occur. How were the walls going to get met? How was that need going to be met? It was going to be by God raising up a leader who would gather a people to accomplish the task. That's what he's doing in this instance. He's saying what we need to solve this problem isn't more efficiency. We need more leaders. We need people who are willing to step up and give their lives to this process. Now, what kind of leaders do we choose? The thing I love about this, and this is always the case in Scripture, the thing I love about the kind of leaders that they choose here, there was no mention in here of practicality. Go find people who know how to organize food distribution. Go get the financial guys. Get them out there. Go get the guys who have practicalities, know how to work with widows. No. This is we need men that have people that have two kinds of character traits. They're full of the Spirit and they've got wisdom. It wasn't about the practicalities or the skills that they had. It was about their character, about their giftedness of the Spirit. And too often when we're talking about how to solve problems, we're trying to find practical help rather than finding people that just have a deep keel. You know what I mean? Deep keel people, you know what I mean? That's an illustration. A keel is the thing in a sailboat that goes down into the water. And it's meant to create stability because the reason that a sailboat needs stability is because it's got this big mast sticking up off the top of the boat that's got a sail on it. The wind's going to catch it and bend it this direction. What keeps it from falling all the way over into the water? Keel. So the deeper the keel, the more stable the ship. The deeper the character, the more committed to the wisdom of God, the more embracing of the Spirit of God, the more embracing of the grace of God and the understanding of His gospel. It's the deeper the keel goes into the waters of life, and so that when the storms, the waves, and the winds blow against that ship, the mast will push, but the keel will provide stability. What you want in your lives, what you want around you are leaders who, when the storms blow against the mast, against the ship, you want leaders who aren't going to blow one side or the other too severely. I've been fortunate to have been connected with many leaders in that capacity. Our session, currently, the session I grew up in when I was first in the ministry, I always talked about it being such a session of such deep keel. What I meant by that was that no matter what the problems were, the reaction of the session, the reaction of the leadership never seemed to be too severe. It was always sort of take it in stride, always moving forward. We bend a little to adjust to the new circumstances, but we always bend back. And so the mast was always, rather than wildly swinging from side to side. People in your life who wildly swing from side to side in their experience that they know what the circumstances are. He doesn't have to be true. There's also the sense where what they're looking for are people who, when you bump them, they spill out the gospel. Wisdom is basically when you get bumped, when life bumps your coffee cup, what comes out? Well, when you bump the cup, what's in the cup comes out. If you bump the cup, and out comes anger, out comes fear, out comes anxiety, out comes discouragement, out comes oversensitivity, out comes hatred. No deep keel. No wisdom there. But when you bump the cup, and out comes a sense of trust in the Word of God. You bump the cup, and out comes a sense of the promises of God. When you bump the cup, out comes a sense of ownership of sin, humility, boldness in the Spirit of God. These are the deep keel that result from that. And this is the kind of leadership that's necessary for practical experiences. Set up tables. Just to set up tables. Waiting on tables. We need people with deep keels waiting on tables, not just preaching sermons, not just leading churches. This is all necessary in that capacity. The other thing I enjoyed about this was that Thousands of people and yet 7 guys. Thousands of people and yet 7 guys are doing the job. What that means is it exalts the power of smallness. Because these 7 guys were going to go gather teams of people to minister to teams of people. Pyramid structures, not the Ponzi schemes that are trouble now, but the pyramid structures of leadership and responsibility, our teams, small teams. Care for those around us, and that's the smallest can occur. Small things can do great things for the work of the Lord. Well, that's the way that we see this probably in South. Church was a mess, imperfect, all expression. And the best churches are the churches that acknowledge that. Don't wallow in it. Seek to solve it through ministry of word and deed with leadership that's both servant and deep healed. But it's also a ministry, it's also a church that lived out the mercy, that lived the mission, didn't just preach the mission. Why I say this is that because it's addressing the gospel in the people that it's reaching. Here's what I mean. The church was growing, and part of the reason the church was growing was because it was reaching the forgotten. It was reaching the rejected. It was reaching the neglected. It was reaching those who were at risk. Widows in this culture, women in this culture. The only way, predominantly the way that women had a subsistence, the way that women advanced in their ability to survive in this culture was to marry and be cared for. They were not employed directly. They greatly did not have a lot of opportunity for education. And the way that they were advanced, the way that they were cared for was by marrying. And if you had no husband who would provide for you, you owned land, you owned property, you owned a job, you were destitute. You were at the risk of the culture at large and mostly lost. And so if you had no husband, it's not like you had insurance or you had Social Security or you had some sort of retirement plan. There were no retirement programs. Who cared for these people? The church. They saw the need and cared for the people who had been forgotten, who had been left over, who were the most at risk in this culture, and they cared for people who were the outsider. The race implications of this passage are immense. You see the church over and over again. We're only into chapter 6, folks, and we've talked about how the church is caring for the poor, caring for the outsider, caring for the lost, the indigent, the immigrant, the people who the culture had pushed away and had thrown away. The church was the one who saw them, who cared for them. Because, why? Because that's the gospel. The gospel is my sin, my brokenness had thrown me away in this world, and Jesus, by his grace, comes to find me and embrace me. He sees the need that no one else sees and accepts those that the world rejects. And makes a level playing field. There are no insiders in the kingdom of heaven. There's no inner circle. There's no by the blood in the family of God. Well, yeah, there is by the blood, isn't there, in the family of God? Yeah. My aunt used to say, well, they're not blood. Then if you're blood, you get insider treatment. That same sentence is used in the kingdom of God. You're either by the blood or you're not by the blood. That's the only distinction. Once you're by the blood, like Jesus' blood, you are in blood. You are blood. Jesus' blood covers you. Jesus' blood is what cares for you, that you are in his family. You are embraced. You are one of his. And his blood covers all kinds of outsiders. Racial outsiders, gender outsiders, moral outsiders, people at risk, in all of these ways. That's the message of the gospel. And the church needs to reflect that in the way that it lives in the culture. Practically speaking, caring for those that are at risk, caring for those that are outside, caring for those that the culture has forgotten. That there was no political system. Politically caring for your own, caring for those who have the biggest lobby group, caring for those who have the most resources, caring for those who have the loudest horn or the squeakiest wheel. No, you care for everyone especially those who can't care for themselves, especially those who no one voting for. That's why our leadership, often when we meet, we talk about leaders see and vote for and care for those who aren't in the room, who aren't able to speak for themselves, and the people who are not in this room. Forgotten or lost the rest of the church is about, because we were at one point. Each, no matter where you are, you were on the outside of the room at one point. By the grace of God, you were drawn. That's the message of the gospel. That's why as we live it, it comes out of our life. Because Jesus did not remain inside of that Judah. He left his Father, emptied himself, and he says, all about pain. He's all over the place. Widow and orphan. By his grace. Father, thank you. Thank you for making us love and caring for us, outsiders as we were. I pray that you would place it on our hearts, that you develop us into deep leaders who deep keels to care for the forgotten, the lost and alone, not troubled by complaint, not troubled by neglect, but admitting our need. Sovereign by your grace, God, and just yourself.
Please turn your beds into page 5, stand and join us in singing Cornerstone.